Hey, Nerf Herders, I'm Addy Thomas.
I am Ben Milton.
Thanks for joining us for another episode of Certain Point of View, our news program. We're going to be talking about the big thing that's just happened in the nerd world, and that's not just Star Wars. We're actually going to dedicate a full episode to Star Wars The Last Jedi.
So much.
Right, but we're going to be talking actually a lot more about the Disney Fox deal in this episode, and some of the recent developments on Nerd TV. We're going to get to that in a second, but be sure to go to our website, certainpov.com, to subscribe to all of our podcasts. Check out all of our social media. Again, that's certainpov.com. All right, let's get right to the news. The Vindicators, which were featured in an episode of Rick and Morty this season, are making a comeback, but not necessarily on the show, but in a one-shot comic courtesy of Oni Press. Our first encounter with the super team during this season's Vindicators 3, The Return of World Ender, saw them turn on each other before most of them ended up dead. But Rick and Morty Presents The Vindicators will dig into the heroes' respective backstories long before they did battle with Rick and their own flaws. Written by Jay Torres with illustrations from CJ Cannon and Nick Filardi, The Vindicators will see the team travel back in time and accidentally create one of the most dangerous villains they've ever faced.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah. Well, it was also fun, like, just the conceit of the episode being titled Vindicators 3.
Right.
And we never saw Vindicators 1. And clearly, like, Vindicators 2 didn't involve Rick and Morty.
Completely skipped them. Yeah, that's brilliant. That's actually really good marketing. I'm kind of curious. I don't know, though. Like, those characters are so thin and just archetypes. Like archetypes that it's hard for me to go, this is probably going to be a really interesting read.
I mean, are they that much more developed, that much more flat than most comic book characters?
Probably not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, well, it's official. The Disney Fox deal has begun. Disney has acquired 21st Century Fox, which includes 20th Century Fox film and television studios, for approximately $52.4 billion in stock.
That's a B?
Yes, that's a B. Immediately prior to those acquisitions, 21st Century Fox will separate the Fox Broadcasting Network and stations, Fox News, Fox Business, FS1, FS2, and the Big Ten Network, since those are not going to be part of the deal.
Wait. So they gave them $52 billion in stock?
Yeah.
So Fox owns $52 billion in stock of Disney now? Is that how I'm reading that? Is that what I'm understanding?
Yeah, I think so.
I wonder what percentage that is of ownership Fox now has.
Yeah, that sort of creates an interesting. I think that's where it's going to get a little bit more difficult when the FTC gets to play with this and decide whether.
Actually, I feel like that kind of like helps grease the wheels.
Yeah.
Whereas if you just paid cash out right now, you own it. Fox has no vested interest in it at all anymore.
Right.
And so they have no controlling interest. And so it's a much more clean break. Whereas giving them that stock kind of marries the two.
Right. Well, I know another thing conditioned for this, though, was at both Fox's and Disney's request, Bob Iger is going to continue as chairman and CEO of Disney through 2021.
Okay.
At the very least.
Okay.
So
I don't hate that idea.
Yeah. I mean, he's done a good job at just kind of gathering all these different properties and letting them run themselves as best as possible with minimal, I mean, with some degree, obviously, of control, but
because they are fronting the money.
Yeah.
But yeah, it does seem like it seemed like they've learned the lessons of Pixar.
Right.
Whereas when they got too involved in Pixar, things started to get a little sideways.
Right, because that's when Pixar broke away, but then eventually they came back, and they learned that it's best to just, the guys at Pixar know what they're doing.
Yeah, leave your development houses develop and write their stories and just front the money and collect the checks.
Yeah. So what are some of the properties?
We need somebody to do that for this show.
Oh, that would be nice, right?
Just write hey, Mark. We got our friend Mark here in the studio with us. He just got this awkward look in his face.
You know anybody?
Hey, buddy.
Well, so what are some of the properties specifically acquired in this deal? So this starts with Avatar, which they've already actually have a deal with their parks to do some rides with Avatar. So it already kind of made sense.
The conceit of the ride is that it's unrideable, Liam.
Like unobtainium.
Unobtainium, yeah, it's unrideable, Liam.
I saw where you're going with it.
And you just stand in line all day and you never actually get to do anything fun.
Then there's of course course, also the X-Men, Fantastic Four, Deadpool, as well as stuff like The Grand Budapest Hotel, Hidden Figures, Gone Girl, The Shape of Water, and The Martian. There's a bunch of the television creative units, which includes 20th Century Fox TV, FX Productions, and Fox 21, which have brought us shows like The Americans, This Is Us, Modern Family, The Simpsons, and many more.
Archer?
Hit TV series, yes. Archer.
Pam is a Disney princess now.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that. Yeah.
Think about that. Pam and Cheryl are Disney princesses.
Yeah, so
Lana.
Right. Well, so like you said, there's FX networks, there's National Geographic.
They got Nat Geo.
Yep.
Interesting.
And now, while they won't get FS1 and FS2, they will get the Fox Sports regional networks in the Fox Networks Group's International, Star India, and Fox's interests in Hulu, Sky PLC, Tata Sky, and Endemol Shine Group.
I don't know what that is.
A lot of these. Well, a lot of these are properties that can help expand Disney's sort of international reach.
Gotcha.
So
they really struggle there, right?
Well, they don't necessarily have some of the infrastructure in TV to do that.
Right.
So
they do now.
Yeah. Because, I mean, that is one thing. Like, ABC hasn't always been the strongest network when it comes to TV. No. Like, they've been better when it comes to ESPN and sports. Yeah. But outside
that's crumbled.
That's
completely
taken
falling
a hit.
apart.
So
can we talk real quick about the Hulu thing?
Yeah, sure.
Like, here's what's exciting to me about Hulu, because Disney has been talking about, hey, we're going to release our own streaming service, and you and I have been kind of bitching about that.
Right.
Of like, oh, great, now we got to pay for another service, right? Yeah. So Disney already owns like a third or a quarter of stock in Hulu.
Yeah.
Now with Fox and having the other quarter, they now own half of the stock in Hulu. Yeah. They can easily just turn that into the Disney streaming service.
Yeah, it'd be nice
without having to create a new service.
Yeah, all they need to really do, in the same way they already handle, like Hulu already does it, and Amazon already does this, the sort of channels version of it, like add HBO, add Showtime, add Cinemax, whatever you want, or Stars, or all of those are separate channels you can add. I think Amazon also has even more, like, they used to have CISO, but there were so many other channels.
Done now,
yeah,
right?
CISO's done. But I mean, there's like PBS Kids, and there's like PBS Drama,
right?
And there's like all sorts of like health and fitness channels, and all sorts of variety,
specific,
a variety of programming that are very tailored to very specific interests, which I like being grouped under these services. You know, Netflix probably could have. You know, it might help Netflix to do something like that.
If cable TV would do this, like people would stick with cable,
right?
They would
instead of buying everything and only watching 3 out of 300
I have 900 channels. Over 900 channels. I watch maybe 4.
Right.
And like the rest of them, I'm like, I don't want them.
And for most of it, you're just paying for ESPN.
Largely. That's absolutely the truth.
Yeah.
That is absolutely the truth. And that's what's killing ESPN now, because everybody's like, I don't want ESPN.
Right.
Like, get rid of it. And so they're getting all these cancellations, and the money's drying up there, and, you know, everybody's getting laid off or in some sort of sexual allegation suit.
So what's the situation specifically for the MCU? So Bob Iger and Kevin Feige have expressed interest in bringing the X-Men, Deadpool, and the Fantastic Four into the MCU. So while the production rights for the Fantastic Four actually belong to a smaller company, Constant Films, Disney now has a distribution rights. So I imagine somehow they'll make Fantastic Four movies happen.
Another couple million, and it's a done deal.
Yeah, and even if they don't even necessarily need to. I mean, if the yeah, Iger has specifically mentioned he intends to maintain an R-rated Deadpool due to the success of the first film. However, we don't know what the implications are for upcoming movies, including Deadpool 2, X-Men New Mutants, and X-Men Dark Phoenix, as it will take 12 to 18 months for the FTC to approve the deal once they make sure no antitrust laws are violated.
I mean, I think you go full steam ahead, right?
Well, I think
because it takes 2 to 3 years to make a movie anyway.
Right. Just let these movies go through.
The ball's already rolling with what you've got going.
Right. You'd probably cut what's in development at this point, so that includes a follow-up to Logan, the X-23 movie that's being written currently by James Mangold. That's also James Franco's Multiple Man movie. and the Gambit movie that's constantly changing hands because nobody...
Let that movie never get made. Let
nobody,
that movie never get
nobody
made.
other than Channing Tatum wants to make that movie, apparently.
I mean, he wants it bad. I'll give him credit. I will give the man credit.
Let Kevin Feige bring him in if he wants to. I'll let, if Kevin Feige finds a way to work Gambit in it,
fine.
Let him take Channing Tatum.
But that's not going to happen any other way.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'm excited for what this is. I think this is... There's been a lot of fan backlash to the idea of Disney and the MCU is going to get to mess with this. And I was someone who always, I was fine with the mutants being separate for a long time.
Sure.
Because they work. Yeah, they work well separately.
They are currently their own standalone universe in the comic books.
And one out of every, 3 to 4 X-Men movies or mutant movies was okay. Or anywhere from okay to good to really good. Yeah. I mean, we had some really great. Logan's great. Deadpool's great. Mm-hmm. So, we've had some really good ones. We've had some good hits, but then we also have X-Men Apocalypse, and
you can't even say they've gotten better as time has gone on.
Yeah, it's just kind of alternates in quality. So
you just never know.
And a lot of that up and down, I think, is due to the sort of the Bryan Singer movies. But then you also have X-Men Origins Wolverine, which is not a Bryan Singer movie. No. So, I mean, there's definitely a mixed bag.
Yeah, they clearly didn't know exactly how to handle those properties.
Now, I guess the big question, though, is it seems like it is too late. Do you think it's too late for this to work into the untitled Avengers 4 movie?
No.
Do you think we'll get something similar to maybe Spider-Man's involvement in Civil War?
Yes.
Okay. So minimal, but
or an after credit scene.
Right. So.
To introduce
that's exciting.
Introduce somebody. I think you could even do an after credit scene in Deadpool 2.
Yeah.
Introducing the mutants, giving a reason for the mutants to go to be involved, like Cable and his time jumping capability and the way he's constantly breaking time and stuff like that can easily drop that universe into the Marvel universe.
That's true.
That can easily be an excuse.
And I also think the events of Infinity War
could easily be an excuse.
Right. I mean, Thanos playing with the reality gem could just suddenly introduce the mutant gene into the population. Right. And now all of a sudden the X-Men are part of this universe. And
that could be your final scene.
Right.
That's what I've said all along. That's your final scene is the X-Men showing up.
And the Fantastic Four have I forget the name of their tower, but the Avengers Tower.
Yeah. That's a great theory, by the way. I really like that.
Spider-Man Homecoming was them evacuating or selling that tower off.
Because let's be honest, they've known for a long time that they've been working on this deal. The Baxter Building, yes. They've known for a long time that they've been working on this deal.
Yeah.
Which means Feige is probably known for a long time that they've been working on this deal. So it's very possible that he's been hiding Easter eggs and hints that this is coming.
Right.
Knowing that, hey, I'm going to need a place for the Fantastic Four to go to. Let's just move Tony out of the Stark building.
Right. And it's a very easy thing, if you can't work it in,
it's just an empty building. Yes. Somebody else picked it up. It's New York, no big deal.
My hope is, though, that we get, with it seems like Spider-Man is going to serve a similar role to that Tony Stark did in terms of pulling the Marvel universe, kind of holding it together in these first 3 phases. And it seems like Spidey is the guy that they'll pass the torch to. I really do hope that they use that to its fullest extent, because I think Spidey in tandem with the Fantastic Four will make them more interesting. Spidey along with the mutants, that was, I remember one of my favorite episodes of the Spider-Man animated 90s series was when he got to interact with the X-Men. He crossed over with them, and the same deal with the X-Men animated series. Getting a chance to take advantage of those
Spidey interacting with anybody is usually pretty great.
And he's always been the connective tissue of the Marvel universe because of his power set. It scales well at the street level, and it also scales well when you go up to the cosmic level. So Spidey in the Guardians of the Galaxy totally works.
Right.
Maybe not where he is right now with the kind of grasp he has on his powers, but as that continues,
another movie, it makes total sense.
Exactly. Yeah. So, I mean, I think, this is not going to happen, but I'd love to see Spider-Man somehow show up in Marvel Netflix, show up with Iron. He could do a lot to help Iron Fist. Let's just put it that way. Because Iron Fist has...
He could maybe teach him how to fight.
Right. Because he needs a lot of help. Danny Rand needs a lot of help. And I don't think Luke's going to be enough.
Just take one of those, kickboxing classes for get your cardio kickboxing thing. If he just took one of those, I'd feel better about Danny Rand. That's all.
And now we have Hans from RealMovieCritic.com to join us about Gotham, which is a show that, I went through the entire first season with, but then I decided I was not crazy.
It wasn't for me.
Nope, definitely not. But Hans, you've been keeping up with Gotham, and
yes.
Are you okay? Like, I mean, do we need an intervention? Like, what do we got to do?
Blink 3 times real fast if you need somebody to save you.
I don't need an intervention. I mean, there's a reason why they renewed for a 4th season, I think, for all the people who are watching. I mean, I'm a big Batman fan, so maybe that's one of the reasons why I continue on watching this show, even though technically it's not about Batman. It's really about James Gordon. And, with every TV show, it's a commitment for me, and I want to be there to the end,
Right or die.
Yeah, kind of like a relationship that's about to go bad, but you're still with her because she's hot. So
yeah, but is she really that hot? Let's be honest.
And is
you get into that point where you want to break up, but you're like, not yet. And after season 3, I was at that point. Trust me on that.
You were ready to break up, and you went to marriage counseling over the summer, and things are a little bit better now.
Yeah, and season 4 is a little bit better. I could say that for sure.
Well, what do you think were the key things that kind of improved the season?
I think it's a little better story. As the season goes, the Penguin now pretty much leads all the crime in Gotham, all the crime businesses and whatnot. He's the head honcho, much to my chagrin because I really don't like his character. But I think he's just a whiny, emotional jerk. Bottom line, but it is what it is.
But do you think so now with him in control of things, do you think the dynamic of Gotham's a little bit what about that dynamic do you find interesting?
Well, Penguin is a smart guy. He really is. And one of the things he do, and this might sound stupid at first, but it actually created some good storylines, is one of his ideas is to control all the criminals. He's requiring the criminals to get a crime license so they could do crime in Gotham. It's pretty weird at first. And if they don't, then he sends Victor Zsasz to take care of them. And and because of that, now Harvey Bullock, he's kind of the captain of the Gotham precinct. He likes the idea because the crime rate is going down in Gotham, so he thinks it's working. But James Gordon says, no, this is not how it's supposed to be. All of Gotham needs to be get rid of. And so you see the tension between Harvey Bullock and Gordon in that regard. And it really races to the end because with all the different things that are happening, and they brought out a couple of characters. They brought back Scarecrow, which I thought was a pretty good episode.
Oh, cool.
If you're a fan of Scarecrow, it's really a good episode. And this is with the kid, Jonathan.
Right.
So, yeah.
Oh, so they have the Scarecrow is still a kid in this world.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
That works.
He's still going strong, even though he's back in jail. But yeah, he had a little stint there.
Is he in jail or is he in do they have Arkham in this?
Yeah, they do have Arkham.
Okay.
So yeah, he is in Arkham, where they send most of the criminals. And then there is another one. Ra's al Ghul makes an appearance as well, which really goes into the Batman storyline with Bruce Wayne, young Bruce Wayne. And here's how you go when they go deep in scraping the barrel. They brought Professor Pig, which they call him the Pig in this show. They also brought in Solomon Grundy, which is very, very interesting. Kind of his character could be a little campy, like almost like Adam West campy, but I love his fight scenes. That's one thing I really like. And Butch, he is Solomon Grundy
from season 1, right?
Yeah,
from season 1.
It was Fish Moody's muscle
right hand guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, he's been in muscles for almost everybody.
I guess, yeah.
And but now he's Solomon Grundy working with the Riddler, which the Riddler's using him in the Fight Club to try to get money because the Riddler thinks that his mind is terrible now, and he wants to get money for brain surgery, so he could get back his smart and intelligence.
Wow,
but
that's a story.
Yeah, and.
Well, let me ask you this. So what do you think now of sort of where Jim Gordon was always a big part of this show, and he was a part of that I enjoyed in season 1. What do you think of where he is right now? Do you think he's in an interesting place?
Yeah, definitely. He's the one guy that really wants to do everything right for Gotham, for the city of Gotham, and whether that means try to get rid of all the crime, but sometimes he has killed, but for the bigger purpose, which he feels right, much to like the chagrin of other people. And this season, like I said before, he has tension with Harvey Bullock now, who is the captain, who doesn't agree with some of the things he's doing. And with all the warnings that he give him, Harvey Bullock still does what he wants, and then he had to pay a big price by walking into a trap, which Gordon did warn him of, and a lot of the police officers were murdered.
Right. You said that was like related to the Professor Pig storyline or something.
Yes, definitely with the Professor Pig storyline for sure. And because of that, with a lot of politics, because now Carmine Falcone's daughter is in the mix trying to redo the Falcone mob again back in Gotham because Falcone left to retire. So she's pulling a lot of strings and actually made it happen for now James Gordon to be the captain of the precinct and force Harvey Bullock to retire. I mean, not retire, but to resign.
Interesting.
And so now he's the man in charge now of the precinct. And in the end, he finally took down Penguin. And one of the things I did like about Gotham, I always liked about it, is the character that plays the Joker, which I really enjoy every time he's on. I really do. And every time he's on, I always enjoy the episodes because he has that Heath Ledger-ish kind of Joker, which I really do enjoy.
Yeah.
And now in the end, so they put Penguin in jail, which I believe is in Blackgate or Arkham, is one of those two. And now he's like cellmates with the Joker, and now it looks like they're about to team up and I guess wreak some havoc on Gotham right now. I'm looking forward to that. I really am.
Cool. So to wrap up, though, here's sort of my question. So, obviously you're invested. You're going to keep watching. For people like me and Ben who quit watching a while ago, do you think we should wait till the series completely wraps up and we have an idea of what the show is like before we try watching it again? Or do you think it's worth, jumping on now and catching up to where it is?
To be quite honest, I think it's wait till the series actually finish, which could be this season. You never know. And then go from there. Because, you have to muster a lot of the campiness that this TV show has. You really do, especially season 3, which I think is the worst season out there for many different reasons. I mean, if you endure season 3, then you can endure everything else for sure.
Well, thanks, Hans. Of course, you can find Hans and all your movie reviews. I know you can go to realmoviecritic.com. I know you're doing YouTube videos. You got video reviews going. You got print reviews going on your website. You're on Twitter. Yep. You're on Facebook. All sorts of fun stuff. You got anything else? Anything new coming up?
I just published Star Wars The Last Jedi review. So definitely check it out and feel free to comment because I know it's been a big debate right now about this movie. So I think it's very interesting. But yeah, check it out. And hey, thanks guys. Thanks for having me, man. I always have fun joining you guys and talking. So
thanks, Hans. Let's talk about the Runaways. So we had a new episode for the Runaways. We had the kids kind of discover a little bit more of their powers. We had why can I not remember her name?
I can't remember
anybody's name
except for the social justice warriors Gert.
Oh yeah,
which is such an awful name.
It seems like the appropriate name for a social.
It totally works for her.
There was a couple fun moments, but I did find myself a little uninterested this episode. It was nice to see a new power reveal, but
I watched this episode 3 times.
Did you really?
I really did.
Because you fell asleep, or
the first time I got through 3/4 of it and Jenny came downstairs.
Yeah.
And no, I'm sorry. I started watching it about halfway through. Something interrupted me.
Yeah.
And and then I was like,
and you weren't even really paying that much attention.
No, I was. I was totally into it. I was like, I really like this episode, but I had to go do something else. I forget something with the kids probably.
Yeah.
So I sat down Saturday. Afternoon, I was like, all right, I'm going to watch this thing now. I'm going to watch it. I'm watching it, and Jenny comes downstairs, and she goes, are you watching that Marvel show that I like? And I'm
Wait,
like,
she likes the Runaways?
she loves Runaways. And I go,
Oh, you never told me that.
yeah. I go, well, not right now, no, as I hit pause. And she looks around the corner and looks at the screen. She's like, you son of a bitch, you are watching it. She's like, what the hell, man? I was like,
So now you got to wait for Jenny on these.
I had to watch, I was like 10 minutes left. I'm like, all right.
Was that before the reveal that she could fly?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, so I had already had that. So then I got to watch it again Sunday night with Jenny because Walking Dead wasn't on. And so she was like, we're watching The Runaways. Yeah. I'm like, all right, calm down. She's like, this is such a teenager show. I'm like, you're the one who likes it.
Yeah, I just didn't feel like anything that interesting happened in it. So
I like the reveal that she could fly.
Yeah.
I thought that was a cool moment.
Yeah.
I liked her despondency and like her reaction to everything.
Yeah.
I thought the reveal of the what do you call it?
The staff.
No. The couple swapping partners. The affair.
Oh, you're right.
The affair
right.
reveal I thought was really cool.
Yeah.
I thought the injecting him with, which seems to me like to be a clear like X gene reference. Like, oh, I got this from somebody very special.
Yeah.
Like kind of like a Logan Deadpool kind of.
Well, some of those guys are supposed to be mutants. You know?
Right. So I think that
they're keeping it vague until they can make the deal happen.
Let's see how this all plays out. But we're going to kind of hint at, again, like the kind of things that we were just talking about, like Feige going, it's okay to hint about it.
Yeah.
It's totally cool to hint about it because there's a good chance we're going to be able to just make this all work.
Right.
I thought that was really cool. I thought like giving him a cure for brain cancer with some sort of mutant gene or whatever was really interesting.
Yeah.
I actually started to find the parents interesting.
Yeah. And they were the ones that held it for me.
Yeah. The parents were far more interesting than anybody else in this.
Yeah. Well, that's because they need the Runaways to actually run away.
Yeah. Any day now.
Yeah.
Any day those kids want to run. It's
like
totally
we're already,
cool.
4 or 5 episodes in, and they have not run away.
They're not even going to start to run until the end of the season.
I'm almost convinced it's going to be the season finale when they decide to run away.
It has to be.
Yeah.
At this point, like,
there's a long way to go. It'd be like Prison Break.
This show is in no hurry.
Yeah.
With anything.
Yeah.
Like, you can make a lot of criticisms about a lot of TV shows where everything is rushed.
Yeah.
That is not the problem on this show.
Yeah. They are in no hurry.
They are taking their goddamn time about we had a 5-minute scene of Gert playing the Star Wars arcade game.
That's true. Which was pretty actually a little bit
It was a
fun.
nice scene.
Yeah.
It was a nice scene.
But I mean, so we're getting a lot of character heavy story here, which is good.
It's the OC of the Marvel Universe.
is.
That's what you're going to get in this show.
That's true.
That is what you're going to get.
Well, then let's move over to Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Okay.
So
different show.
Yeah, definitely very different show. Continuing with some of the, we got to learn a little bit more of the Star-Lord knockoff guy. I forget his name.
Yeah.
I thought that was a little bit
wearing Star-Lord's jacket.
Yeah,
I'm just
I know.
Like, come on.
And a mask that functions very similarly to it.
It's like blue eyes instead of red.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay.
Yeah, I was glad they revealed a little bit more of his backstory because he started to feel a little too one-dimensional.
Yeah.
They started to flesh him out a little bit. Outside of that, though, I wasn't...
It was a fairly forgettable episode
until the reveal at the very end, though, where I did get a little bit excited to see Fitz show up at the very end of that episode.
Holy shit, I have not seen this episode then.
Well, tune in next week where we'll actually...
I was thinking it was the episode... Honestly, on the last episode I saw... It's hilarious. The last episode I saw was the one where they sell the little girl.
Oh, yeah. No, that's not this episode.
Son of a bitch, because I went on Verizon this weekend to go, oh, is there a new episode?
Yeah.
Nope, I guess not.
You got to watch on Hulu.
God damn it. All right. Oh,
well, I'm sorry I spoiled that for you.
I mean, oh wow, I can't believe Fitz came back. Like, there's a big shocker.
Well, then
Luke is in the Last Jedi. What?
Well, so I'm gonna leave that though, then for you to find out more about what could make that other character interesting too.
Okay, good, yeah, because he's not right now.
Yeah,
there's
definitely.
Nobody really all that interesting right now.
Yeah, so you just left off with him betraying Daisy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
Yes, I did.
All right. Well, next week we'll talk a little bit more about.
I'm looking forward to it. I got something to do now.
So now we'll talk Last Jedi, but this will be our spoiler-free review. We're gonna have
we're gonna try to make this spoiler free.
We can make this happen because the thing is, you know what? Our spoiler filled episode, it's gonna be long. There's a lot to cover.
Like a 2 to 3 hour show.
We're gonna be here a while tonight, guys.
Somebody order pizza,
right? So Last Jedi.
Yep.
Got to see it.
Loved it.
Yep. I got a chance to see it again on Saturday.
Have you seen it, Mark? I have not seen it. You have not seen it. Okay, good. Then you'll enjoy this part of the segment. Okay, yeah. This is
unpredictable, subverts a lot of the tropes that we're familiar with in Star Wars, and breaks new ground for the movie.
But still gives enough fan service to feel like Star Wars.
Yes. Yeah. And I think what's important, because you probably have caught on, there is definitely some degree of fan backlash. It's definitely divisive. It makes some bold moves that were bound to be controversial. I think if you had very specific expectations,
you were wrong.
Yep.
And you will be disappointed.
Yes.
Because you were wrong.
If you had certain expectations coming out of Force Awakens and wanted certain questions answered, particularly a certain way, then
you were wrong. Yeah, you're going to be disappointed by this movie.
But then I also don't think you were necessarily a fan of the Star Wars that, as Obi-Wan would describe, is true from a certain point of view and different perspectives.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is very true. I think if you're a huge fan of the kind of spectacle and action of A New Hope and Return of the Jedi, which are great, don't get me wrong, I love those aspects of Star Wars, then this is not necessarily going to be your favorite Star Wars movie. But if you're a fan of what Empire did, not necessarily in terms of it being a dark movie, because I think people mistakenly it's not that Empire doesn't do dark things, but it's not, I don't think
it's got a lot of levity in it.
It's got a lot of levity, and it's got a lot of light and hope in it as well. But I think also it's got the best character development, and it also deepens the idea of the Force and its spirituality in big ways. So for me, so some of my favorite moments in Star Wars have been Yoda on Dagobah. Mm-hmm. In Rebels, there was the training with the Darksaber with Kanan and Sabine. Mm-hmm. And then if you go back to the Clone Wars animated series, there's the Mortis trilogy where Obi-Wan, Anakin, and Ahsoka visit that planet with the mother, with the father, the brother, the brother and the sister, which are both like the two, the light and dark, and you get into the really like mystical side of the Force. So that's always been,
which this movie plays leans heavily on,
exactly,
on. And if you miss that, and it's easy to miss, it's a very subtle movie. Yeah, there's so much in this movie.
It's the deepest Star Wars movie we've ever had,
for sure, and it's very subtle. It's not like proclaiming it and putting in a title crawl across the screen for you to figure out. You've got to pay attention to this movie, which I was super excited about. Like this is a fair, like, it's still Star Wars. Like, it's not high art. Okay, like this isn't The Godfather. Like this is still Star Wars, but you do have to pay attention. Otherwise, you miss some critical plot points pretty easily.
And it's also definitely the first Star Wars movie that doesn't feel like a George Lucas Star Wars movie.
For sure.
It definitely has Rian Johnson's, fingerprints all over it. Who,
for better or worse.
Yeah, exactly. So obviously, you can check out the spoiler-filled review soon after you've checked out the movie to see whether you agree or disagree with us, or if we can help talk you out of not liking the movie. We'll see, because we might insult you quite a bit.
I probably will. I think it's almost guaranteed some of you are going to hate me after this, more than you already do.
So outside of that, the next big thing that's coming up is we've got the Jumanji movie on the 20th. That's coming up. But outside of that, it seems like it's going to be a little quiet until we got Black Panther in February.
So we got nothing happening in January?
Not in terms of nerd movies. I'm sure there's probably a couple interesting movies outside of that. Just as if you
chance to watch Star Wars more.
Yeah, I think everyone's just kind of backed off of Star Wars as much as possible.
Wisely,
so
wisely.
Let it have its run, and then we'll revisit it in February is the way they see it. So let us know what you think. You can always find out more about the podcast. All of our other podcasts you can find, including Another Pass with Case Aiken, our Scruffy Nerf Herders D20 Star Wars game. All of that is available on our website, certainpov.com. All of our social media is there. Again, you can go to our website, certainpov.com. And until next time, stay scruffy, my Nerf Herders.